Jill, would you say that his visit to Kangemi was the highlight of his trip to Kenya?
Yes, I would, Vincent. Pope Francis has made poverty issues one of the hallmarks of his papacy, and he himself leads quite the humble lifestyle of humility. So I would say that he really enjoyed his visit today to Kangemi. He rolled up in the Pope Mobile, which people really liked. And when he got to the parish, he immediately went to several children and a woman in wheelchairs and greeted them and spent some time with them before continuing. So and throughout all of this, he really seemed quite happy. And I can tell you that the people were reciprocating in kind.
So what a contrast. The church is like right in between very, fairly middle-class neighborhood and extremely poor neighborhood. So significant, right?
Very significant. And as you mentioned previously, what he mentioned first and foremost was this dreadful injustice of urban exclusion. And he went on to say that that includes things like not having access to water. And when he said that, people just erupted in cheers. And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that they don't feel like they've been heard on that issue or many of the other issues which he addressed today. And so you could tell that there was sort of a collective, I don't know if it was not necessarily a sigh of relief, because I don't know if people think that things will change, but I do think that people are happy and pleased that the Pope is at least addressing this and sort of recognizing what they're going through.
And we know that after Kangemi, the Pope actually did have another major engagement with the citizens of Kenya. Tell us about that.
Sure. Another issue that he's brought up over and over again, and even on this visit, he's brought it up several times, is that of youth and their issues. And so in Kenya, he went to Kasarani Sports Stadium today, again, went up in the Pope Mobile and received what's being hailed as a rock star welcome. He got to the stadium and then he went into, he spoke directly to the youth that were there. And he mentioned corruption, and he likened corruption to sugar. And he said that, you may develop a taste for it, but at the end of the day, it's detrimental to your health. So, he was saying this in front of not only the youth, but also lots of dignitaries, politicians, MPs. So he definitely had a message that he wanted to get across. And in addition to corruption, he also touched on tribalism, which he said was detrimental to development in this country. And then he also talked about radicalization a bit and said that education and jobs need to be available for youth in order to help them stay away from the temptations of radicalization. So that was the second part of his trip today before he took off.
Very quickly, and only if there was any comment, did the politicians of the country say anything in terms of the effect and the impact of his visit to Kenya?
The politicians, I think, when you see how they interact with the Pope, they act a little different than usual. Just a little bit more, I don't want to say childlike, but it's sort of as though they're sort of in awe of his presence as well. So I don't think that there's been an outright rebuttal of what he has said in terms of some of these more controversial issues. But I can say that, the politicians have definitely been listening.
Okay, so we'll be listening to the Pope again as he arrives. He continues his visit to Uganda. Thanks a lot, Jill, for reporting excellently from Nairobi.